nutrition. What are we talking about, Ken?
Yeah, so we haven't done a nutrition podcast in a long time, and this would be a good time to revisit that, specifically nutrition pitfalls.
Yes.
Because, we're in the gym every day. We see people and have these conversations all the time, and we get the same thing. It's coming up over and over and over. These same pitfalls, the same problems that people run into with their nutrition. Because as hopefully we all know by now, nutrition is more important or as important as exercise, and that's the biggest piece of the pie that most people miss.
No, I agree. Oh, wait.
I said piece of the pie, and I was trying to...
Yeah, wait. Piece of the pie that most people miss, though, because that's a good thing, right? Because they're missing the pie.
Yes. There you go.
I
was trying to think of a way to tie that in. I ran out of thoughts.
I think that worked out.
Yeah.
But
So I have a list of 10 common things that I hear all the time, at least once a week.
Yeah.
All of these. So I thought it'd be a good idea to address them.
Yeah, let's do it. What's the first one?
Yeah, number one is snacking.
Yes.
Snacking. Okay. Now.
Snack all the time.
Snack all the time. So let me preface this by saying that your nutrition habits should be in line with your goals. And everybody's goals are different. Okay, so some people that are overweight that are trying to lose body fat have a very different set of goals than somebody who's underweight and is trying to gain muscle.
Yeah.
Has a different set of goals than someone who's just maintaining what they have. So all of this comes with a little caveat where it may or may not apply to you, but it will apply to somebody, and it is important.
Yeah.
So number one is snacking. Mindless snacking. Specifically, the two that I hear the most are one, at work. If somebody brings in donuts or cookies to the office, what do? And two, after dinner. I have dinner at 6. I have dinner at 6 p.m. I'm done at like 6:30, and then from 6:30 to 9:30, I have to eat something.
Huh. Interesting.
You don't get that? You never had anybody tell you that? I get that all the time.
I think part of it too, though, is being like I coach a lot of the evening classes. Like most of them eat after class, and so it's like it's already 7 p.m.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably why I don't hear as much.
Yep.
But I do. I've heard the one at work,
and
I've been there, so I get that.
Yes, and I get that question a lot: is when's the last time that I should eat throughout the night? Before I go to bed. So there's a couple things to address there. Number one, it depends on your goals. But if the goal is to lose body fat or to gain muscle, you shouldn't be having, especially carb-heavy snacks after dinner.
Yeah.
That's a really easy rule of thumb is if you have dinner, make that the last time you eat. Or, if anything, give yourself like a half an hour window after you're done eating. Well, if you're going to snack, say, like my example, if you eat at 6, finish at 6:30, you have until 7 to eat your snacks if you want them. And then after 7 o'clock is up, that's your time. No more snacking for the rest of the night. If that's your mindset going into dinner, it makes it much, much, much easier. If you have Chips Ahoy cookies or Cheez-Its or what else is ice cream,
chips, whatever it is.
Those super easy grab and go and sit on the couch and watch TV and eat the snacks. If you have them, you will eat them eventually. That's a pretty standard golden rule when it comes to food in the house. Is if you have it available, sooner or later you're going to eat it. So the easiest thing you can do is
not buy it.
Don't have the food, you can't eat it. Or at the very least, if you do want to eat it, at least you have to get in your car and go and get it, which is too much of a pain in the ass for most people.
I would say, that's usually how it falls in the habit. It's like even like when I want something quick and easy, if I'm at home, it's like I have to go get it. I was like, I don't care. I don't need it that bad. Yeah.
I'm not leaving. I don't want it that bad.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's two really easy things to do. Is one, just have the mindset of after dinner, I got a half hour window, and that's it. And then number two is don't have it in the house.
Yeah.
Throw it away. I've had clients before. I told them to videotape them throwing their chips in the trash and then show it to me the next day, just to prove to me that they actually threw it out.
Yeah.
So that's how you get rid of late night snacking, or two easy ways to do it. And then for snacking at work while people bring in donuts and whatnot, do you have a tip? Because I have mine, but
for me, it's just avoid the area they're at.
Okay.
To be honest with you, because so being a teacher, I have my room and then we have the break room, and so the break room, the only time I go in there is to heat up my lunch.
Break room.
Yeah, the break room. But other than that, I avoid the area.
Cool.
Because there will be cookies, snacks, and things like that. I just don't go back there.
Yep.
That's about my tip of the day. Yeah.
And my personality, and I've talked to other people that share a similar sentiment, that if I am next to a plate of cookies or, God help me, donuts, I am going to eat one.
Yeah.
I cannot look at them. So that's a good thing. Stay away from it.
Yeah.
Super simple. Bring your own food.
Yeah.
You have to meal prep and bring your own food. You can even bring your own snacks. Even if they're not perfect snacks, if you have your own food that you bring in with you, whatever it is, you're more likely to eat that than something else.
Yeah, no, that's what I started doing is I started bringing in tuna packets. My students make fun of me all the time because I'm snacking, but it's just like, that's my like little snack. I get a little hungry. I'm like, okay, whatever. I'll eat this real quick rather than going to the break room, finding whatever they have in there and eating that.
Yep. Perfect. Yeah. And what I've used and what I'm currently using that has worked really well is I have my breakfast that I eat, I have my lunch that I eat, and I have my snacks, and that's all I'm allowed to eat. It's self-discipline of this is my food, this is what I'm eating, that's it.
Yeah.
Let everybody else have that shit, the donuts and the sweets and the candy and all that stuff. Everybody else can have it. If that's how you want to treat your nutrition, that's fine. I'm not going to do it. That comes with mental toughness, which comes in later. But have your own food, make your own food. You should have it ready. That's how you get rid of that. You had mentioned snacking on tuna packets.
Yeah.
Which comes to my next problem that I hear all the time is I don't get enough protein in my diet. I give people recommendations on how much protein you should eat. And again, it's very goal dependent, but pretty much everybody I tell it to thinks that I'm crazy and thinks that I want them to have way more protein than they think they should have.
Yeah.
Most people are protein deficient.
No, absolutely. Even the USDA, I think, his recommendation is like 0.04, something stupid. No, 0.04 is whatever the number. It's super low, but it's just enough. And I heard this the other day too during a podcast. What the recommendation is that's given by the USDA is just enough to avoid malnutrition. That's all it is.
Sweet.
So when people hear that, no, yeah, right. Just so you're not suffering. Yeah.
Shoot for the stars.
So when people hear like a legitimate number, like 1 to 1.4 grams or whatever, they're like, what? That's way too much. It's like, no, that's what you should be eating if you want to grow, prosper, not become decrepit, broken, and whatever it may be.
Yeah. Especially if you're lifting weights, which I think everybody should do, you need to have enough protein.
Yeah.
So how much protein, that's a whole nother discussion. Again, goal dependent, but usually broad net, about 100 grams of protein for ladies, 150 for guys. That's where you start. And then once you get that, you can try to get 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. That's a lot.
It's challenging.
That's challenging and tough to do. So how do you do that?
For me, it's just like, one is introducing snacks, but snacks that are protein based. Like yogurt's awesome. Getting some type of Greek yogurt. Sometimes even putting a scoop of protein powder in. It sounds weird, but it makes it a little pudding almost. Gets a little extra in there. Utilizing protein shakes. I know if you can get it from Whole Food, that's better. But sometimes that's tough to do, especially if you're on the go. You got this and that and everything. You know, something quick. Sometimes it's just easy. Just do a protein shake after your workout. Boom, you get another 20 grams of protein. You're good there. And then just making sure your breakfast, lunch, and dinner have a good source of protein. One thing I do find, especially now that I've kind of just like worked with a lot of different people, talk to a lot of different people, is breakfast typically is underdosed in protein. They'll have, toast and avocado, or they'll have, oats, and that's just it, or
a bowl of cereal.
A bowl of cereal. But it's just like, that's a prime time where you should be, whether it's eggs or it is a steak, whatever time you have, that should definitely have a good chunk of protein in there to start your day off. And then your lunch should have a really good source of protein, and your dinner should have a good source of protein. And then having snacks that have good heavy doses of protein is just, that's how you're going to get it. If you're just like, I'll eat some lettuce at my lunchtime and not have any chicken, I mean, it's going to make it challenging. Like, you know what I mean? It's going to make it tough.
Yep.
And that's the biggest thing I hear is a lot of people like, oh, I have a salad for lunch. It's like, great, where's your protein? Well, I don't have one. Well, you need to have a protein with it, so put chicken in it.
Yep.
Super easy.
Especially quality chicken.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not talking about the deep fried
Yeah,
chicken,
not fried chicken,
Yeah, those are all gold.
Yeah.
You need to have a source of protein with every meal. And vegetarians, vegans, you need protein too. It's not just for meat eaters. Everybody needs protein.
Yeah,
so
whatever
whatever
is just done sourcely.
Right, exactly. Whatever the source is, tofu, chicken, ground beef, turkey, you need more of it than you're currently getting.
Absolutely.
All right. So make sure you get a source of protein with every single meal, especially in the morning. Eggs are a superfood. Have eggs. Have egg whites. Whatever. That's your thing. Do it. Yeah, I mean, that solves most of the problems. Protein shakes, like you said. If I'm trying to get more protein, I'll have a couple scoops of my protein shake. There's another 40 grams right there. And that solves most of the problems.
Yeah. It's just, like you said, it's being, it's understanding what you're putting in your body and just balancing things.
Yep. That's how you do it. Mm-hmm. How do you get more protein? Get more protein.
Yeah. It's crazy, right? Yeah, right.
So the next one is social events that I hear a lot.
Yeah, it's fun.
And especially in the summer around here because we have so many lakes.
Yeah.
But, I mean, social people. I mean, people go out with friends, and not everybody's friends are as health conscious as they are. So I have a client I'm working with now. It's, she's doing a really good job. She's logging her food. She's dialing everything in, and then she goes out with her friends on Fridays and Saturday nights, and they have pizza and beer and shots and ice cream and shit. And, man, it's really hard to lose body fat or continue on your goals if that's what you're having on the weekends.
Especially if you have it for 2-3 days of your weekend.
Yeah.
That's tough.
Yeah. So what do you do? My go-to tips are, number one, modify what you eat throughout the day based on where you're going in the night.
Oh, that's a good one.
So I regularly practice intermittent fasting, which can be another topic. But if you know you're going to go out Saturday night, you can skip a breakfast.
Yeah.
Right? So if you have like 400 or 500, 600 calories for breakfast, if you take that out, then throughout the course of the night, when you will consume more calories, then balances out. I mean, that's not perfect because
but it does make it a little bit more beneficial. Yeah.
Right. So not perfect because obviously the alcohol in the pizza is counterproductive, but it limits the damage. Should we say?
Yeah, damage control.
Right,
yeah,
damage control. So that's one thing that I regularly practice. The other thing is if I know I'm going to an event, I will actually eat before I go. And I eat good quality whole food so that when I get to the event, I'm not starving.
Yeah, that's what I like to do is like if like I know it's like a later event where it's like, oh, I'll try to make, even if it's like going to hang out with friends, I'll try to eat my dinner before I go over there. That way it's like, oh, I've had, chicken or steak or whatever. I had my good whole foods and then I go there not hungry. And that way I can still enjoy social event, but I'm not sitting there indulging on their fried potatoes or this or that, whatever they have.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, that's a really good point. I like it.
Yeah. What was the other thing I had? You said something else that came to me. Oh, another one is to also limit yourself at the event itself. So not saying you can't indulge in something, but maybe if, let's say there is pizza or maybe it's, I'm trying to think, let's say it's like fried chicken, some veggies. There's, I don't know, just tons of stuff is like to create a plate that allows you to enjoy somewhat, but not overdoes it. It's a tougher method. It's a tougher strategy, but sometimes even for me, like if I do have it, like I have no choice but to eat what they have, I'll try to make sure I still find the cleanest source of protein I can. It's not going to always be easy, but maybe they have a grilled chicken option. So maybe I do the grilled chicken option, then I have potato fries or whatever it is, and maybe a little cheese on top of it or something like that. I enjoy that a little bit while I have the chicken. So sometimes there's also a balancing act you can play a little bit, especially if you don't have the option of eating prior.
And stick to that plate.
Yeah.
Make yourself a plate. Get away from the table that has all the crap on it.
Yeah.
Because if you just stand next to it, man, I've been known to destroy a plate of salami and cheese, like a meat and cheese tray.
If I'm nearby, it's over. I'll just sit there and just keep,
Get it on a plate, walk away. Yeah, good idea. And we're big on enjoying your life and going to social events. Like, don't become a shut-in unless that's what you want to do. But if you go, go places. We don't. I don't like hearing that. They're not hanging out with friends or they're not going to events because they're not going to the movie theater because they don't want to get popcorn or whatever. Like, you should be going to do those things if you want to do them. Just be smart about your health goals along the way.
Yeah, you just have to consider, like you said, you have to prioritize. If your health goals are your priority, if you go out and do things, you gotta play that balancing act. So maybe you go to the movies, you don't get popcorn. Or maybe you go to the movies and you have a little bit of popcorn, but you get the small bag and you split that with someone. Okay, you had some popcorn. Yeah, it wasn't the greatest thing for you, but cool. You have to prioritize what you are wanting to achieve. And if your health goals, losing body fat is your goal, then you have to consider that when you are going out to these social events and hanging out with friends. You can still do those things, enjoy them without eating 60 hot dogs, shoving your face full of fries, having 300 beers, whatever it may be. There's a balance of things. You can still hang out with people and high five, shoot the crap, and all that stuff, and have a good time.
Do it.
Yeah.
I love it. Cool. Anything else on that?
No, I don't think so.
All right. Alcohol is the next one. So, as far as that goes, about to start talking about alcohol. So,
alcohol.
Yes. Okay. Number one, the funniest piece of advice I've ever heard online is, if you are actively trying to lose body fat, there is absolutely no reason to drink alcohol unless you're trying to get laid.
You know, I don't know what that. I have zero response to this.
Alcohol is counterproductive to every health goal that you can have. And I answer that question all the time with people that are trying to lose body fat, trying to lose weight, and they can't. First question is, okay, how many days a week are you drinking?
Yeah. I mean, it's not impossible. Anything's possible, but it's so hard to lose weight and lose body fat when you're drinking. Especially if your frequency's high. If you're doing it 3-4 times a week, it is immensely tough to lose body fat.
And that's a common misconception too. That's a good point, that having like one drink, let's say 2 beers 6 nights a week, is just as, if not more, devastating to your health than having like 12 or 14 beers once a week or once or twice a week.
And that's completely wrong.
Wait.
Yeah, wait, they're equal? Or wait.
No, so I have some people that will tell me, for example, I don't drink very much. I just drink 1 or 2 beers a night.
Oh, yes. That is as devastating as getting slammed, sloshed, hammered on one day.
Correct. Yes.
For sure. Yes.
And that's the misconception, is that drinking a little bit every day is better for you.
It's not.
If you have alcohol, your body needs to process it, and it is absolutely taking you away from any goal you have.
No, it really is, because of the implications it has on the processing ability is horrible, as well as the effect of sleep. It does not matter, and I've experimented. I tried this. Your eating can be so dialed in. 1 to 2 beers changes how you sleep, which then also changes how your metabolism rolls and how much fat you're going to burn, and how much potential you have there to lose weight,
how much you recover, everything.
And if you're doing that 5-6 days a week, you're causing that implication. You are causing that conflict where you aren't going to potentially be able to burn, lose fat, and all that kind of thing, because you're not recovering the way you should be. Your sleep's all whacked out and everything like that, even though you don't feel it.
And that includes red wine. Having a glass of red wine every night is not a thing. It has things that could be potentially beneficial for you in the wine. It's not healthy. It's alcohol. Your body processes alcohol the same way.
It doesn't, yeah.
Stop lying to yourself. If you want to drink wine every night, that is absolutely fine. Right. I'm not telling you not to. I'm just, information-wise, it is not good for you.
Yeah, and I think that's the big thing, is the big understanding you have to realize, especially for this pitfall, is just to understand that alcohol is just flat out not good. Like I have bourbon on the weekends here and there every now and then, so I enjoy my bourbon. I get it.
Gross.
I love bourbon.
It's gross.
I enjoy it, but the reality of it, is it good for you? No. And I know that. So like I take that into account when I do have those days. I'm like, okay, I'm going to have a glass or 2 on the weekend, whatever it is. I know what I'm doing to my body, and I'm making that decision. But what people don't understand is they'll do these things like, I'm not losing weight. Well, yeah, that's because you're drinking 3-4 times, a week, or it's, every weekend you're drinking, you're eating like an asshole, and you're doing all these things that are just putting you right back to where you began at the beginning of the week. And so you're just in this constant loop. Yeah, you're working out hour a day as hard as you can. Great. You're getting 10,000 steps. Great. You're still not eating the way you should be for the progress you want. And alcohol is just like that center piece, because for some reason, as Americans and as a human population, we revolve around this one thing. It's all about alcohol. When it comes to social events, when it comes to hang out with friends, it's like, let's have some beer, let's have some drinks, whatever it is. But you have to balance, and you have to understand what it's doing to your progress.
At least know that it is bad for you.
Yeah.
At the very least, you at least take that away.
Yeah. Take into account, yeah.
Also, just for the record, bourbon is gross.
It's not.
It's gross. It's gross. And just like Brussels sprouts, nobody actually likes them. You just
false.
pretend to like. No, you don't.
We'll have a whole nother podcast on why bourbon's so good.
I'm sticking to my guns. Okay, so then we know it's not great for you.
Yes.
Not great. We know it's bad for you. What do we do about it?
One strategy I like to go is like kind of what you said with the social events, is to limit what you're going to eat in the morning. Because although they're empty calories, they're still, what's going to end up happening is you're going to drink and you're going to end up eating like an asshole anyways. That's usually what happens.
Yeah.
Because you're trying to soak up the alcohol, which understandable.
Yep. And your decision making goes down. Like when
Yeah.
you're drinking, you are more likely to snack on shit.
Yeah, and it's very interesting because there's times I'll go out with people and I don't drink very much, so I'll kind of like have a beer or two, whatever. But the other people get super intoxicated or whatever it is, or have a good time, and their first reaction, let's go get Taco Bell, and I'm just like, I don't know, that's my first reaction.
Yeah,
But they just want food to soak up that, which again, it's because your decision making goes down, so you don't think about going home and like drinking some water and maybe eating some like chicken. No one wants to do that after they've had 20 beers or whatever it is, and so that's where it goes in line. In the morning, eat a less caloric dense meal. Try to fill it with protein, high protein kind of day, and maybe cut back carbs, whatever it looks like, but we have to make adjustments throughout our day. That way, if we are going to drink 12 beers, we got to make sure our nutrition lines up in some type of way to kind of compensate for the bad eating we're more likely going to have because we're drinking.
Yep. Yeah, all good points. I have two real simple go-to tips that I tell people. One goes in line with the snacking is don't have it at home. If you have it at home, you're not going to. If you don't have it at home, then you're not going to drink it. Mm-hmm. That's a really simple way to eliminate a lot of that during the week. The other thing you can do is my trick for going out to eat is if you have drinks when you go out to eat, have a drink, especially in social settings. This works really well. Is you have a beer or whatever your drink is, you drink it, order a second one, but don't finish it.
Yeah.
That gets you the social aspect of I'm drinking with all my friends, so everybody sees you drinking and whatever, you fit in or whatever. You order the second one, everybody sees you order a drink, and then you don't finish it, so you're not completely obliterating your nutrition for the weekend.
Yeah.
You have 1.5 drinks. So that's obviously not good for you, but it's not as bad as if you go 3, 4, 5, 6 drinks in, and then if you just keep going after that, then
do downhill.
Yeah.
That or get new friends.
We'll get new friends.
I mean,
yeah, I've had those conversations
yeah.
too. It's, you know what? That is a thing.
Sometimes it does help to be around like-minded people. I'm not saying ditch your friends, but sometimes it does help to like maybe find a different friend group for other weekends. Like, not saying you can't enjoy those friends every now and then, but maybe it's like, oh, these are my like friends that kind of like to eat healthy, do these fun things, and maybe not drink. I don't know.
You know what? I've had those conversations too, and I feel terrible for the people. Like, they say, I'm going out with my friends this weekend, and I know they want to drink, and I don't want to. What do I do?
Yeah.
Like,
it's tough.
I don't have a good answer for you. I mean, you can do the 1.5 drinks like I do, but man, if you get pushy friends that want you to drink and want to take shots and buy you drinks, and I mean, that's hard.
It is. It's very challenging.
Removing yourself from the situation is the only way I know to get around that.
Yeah.
If there's a better way, let me know, but
no,
that's all I got.
But yeah, sometimes that might be your solution, but who knows? You kind of always play with those things.
Yep.
But
that kind of goes hand in hand with the next one, and that'll be number 5. Maybe we can break this up into 2 episodes.
Yeah.
We're already going a long way.
Yeah.
So number 5 is going out to eat. Right? So you go out to eat. That's a really easy way to eat an entire day or weekend's worth of calories in one meal.
It is. It's so easy. And I used to be very bad about this where, like, for me, I love food. I love trying new foods. I think that's, to me, is like what's fun is I like to try new foods by different people, different places. And so I fall in that traditional category, like, you got to get an appetizer you've never had before, and you got to try this. And so I've gotten super better about that, but I used to be that way. It's like, I have to have an appetizer, try this dish. I've never tried this. But now I try, like, if I have an app, I maybe make my meal choice a chicken breast with veggies or a steak with veggies or something that's going to be less intense than a fried piece of chicken or whatever it may be.
I'm trying to think, is there a healthy appetizer?
There's not.
I don't think there is.
There's very few. I think some.
Like, they're all deep fried. I can't. I'm trying to think of an appetizer that isn't deep fried.
I know. I'm trying to think too. Not that I know off the top of my head.
Like bread, like I'm thinking of Texas Roadhouse and Olive
Bread
Garden and the bread that
rolls.
comes out.
Yeah.
I guess if you get a salad, like a house salad, that can be an appetizer.
Yeah, I know some people like. Yeah, listen, loves getting salads.
Most things are like mozzarella sticks and
fried,
nachos and fries and deep fried junk.
Yeah,
so
your apps are pretty. Yeah.
My first tip: avoid appetizers. Don't get an appetizer.
No,
because
for
there
sure.
is no good appetizer. So on top of a meal, because if you just get the meal, I mean, the meal itself, depending on where you go, could be between 1,200 calories and up to 2,000 or maybe even more, depending on what you get.
Yeah.
I went to Buffalo Wings one time. One of their like cheddar cheese curd, bacon, cheeseburger. It was like 2,200 calories.
Yeah, I've had that before.
I mean, it was delicious. Don't
It's-
get me wrong.
yeah.
But
but it's absurd.
Jesus.
Yeah.
And if you have that on top of a couple of drinks, on top of an appetizer, that's like
You're gassed for like 3 days.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and that's as easy. I mean, it's as easy as that. People
Yeah.
do it all the time. I used to do it. We've all done it before. So how do we avoid it? So we go out to eat, right? Number one, plan ahead is know where you're going and have an idea of what you want to get before you get there. Because when you get to the restaurant, typically you're hungry, and your hungry eyes are different than your not hungry eyes. All of a sudden, those appetizers look really good, and you see the waiter walk by with a plate of somebody else's food, and your mouth starts to water, and you order 3 of those. Again, we've all done it. You got to have a plan going in.
Oh, yeah.
The best thing that I found is to order steak and veggies, steak and double veggies. Get a meat and vegetables. That's the easiest way to do it, but sometimes not always as practical because you do want to. I mean, things look good. You want to get it. I understand. So, trying to think of things that I've done before. Number one, steak and double veggies. Number two, if you get a burger, only have one source of carbohydrates per meal.
Yeah.
So if you have a burger, don't get fries with it. Get something else. Get get a burger and a salad, or
You can usually sub it out for a veggie or something along
or like
those
a
lines.
sweet potato with no butter or marshmallow or any of that shit. Just get a normal sweet potato. Add some cinnamon on it if you want some flavor. You can do that. Is a really good way to go. If you have a burger, take the top bun off. It's useless. There's nothing on it. You don't need the top bun.
That's very true. Usually the bottom bun's where the sauce is at. So.
Exactly. It's an open face sandwich. It just cuts off 150, 200 calories just in the freaking bun.
Yeah.
Alcohol. Dude, you want a cheaper meal? Don't get appetizers. Don't get alcohol.
You're good to go. You got a $20 meal right there.
$20 meal. Yeah. So you're saving money and way less calories and less alcohol. All good tips that you can do.
Yeah.
Do you have any other ones?
Just limit the times you go out to eat.
Oh, yeah.
I think
there you
that's
go.
another thing is like some people fall in the trap, and sometimes that's where meal prepping and planning comes into play. But some people fall in the trap. It's like, oh, we don't have anything planned for Monday. Let's go ahead and just go out to dinner. Oh, we don't have anything planned for Tuesday. Let's go out to dinner. Oh, we don't have anything planned for Wednesday. Let's go out to dinner. And it just becomes this revolving trap where they're not planning, they're not preparing, and then they resort to going out to eat. So making sure you plan and prepare yourself for the week. That way you aren't falling into that trap of like, well, let's just go out to eat. Because the more frequent you go out to eat, again, you're not helping yourself.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I didn't think about that. If you go out to eat freaking 4 or 5 times a week, that is because you're overeating. Like it's impossible. Not impossible. It's very, very challenging to not overeat when you go out to eat.
Absolutely.
So if you're doing that 4 or 5 times a week, man, it's tough.
Yeah, and that's one thing I hear a lot is like people get into the trap with that, and that's where I hear with eating out is, well, we didn't have time, so we just went out to eat, or oh, we didn't have time, so we swung by this place.
Yeah, I don't buy that.
Yeah,
make your own time.
Yeah,
That's
you got
not
to
an
make your own
excuse.
time. If you plan, you'll have the time.